My name's Ilya, like she said. We're from Vancouver, Washington, like she just covered. We're just down here in Medford, hanging out with you guys, like people like you guys, literally just meeting people on the street, inviting them over and hanging out. We're about to have some awesome food and some awesome coffee from, thanks to Mandy. Can we give her a hand? Cheers. But before we get into that, I just have something in my heart that I want to share. So, I don't even know where to start, but I can start with my story too. I kind of grew up in a Christian family too, so I kind of like always knew God was real, but I didn't really care about that. Like, it just was a word, or it was like a fact that I knew or thought that I knew, but like it didn't really mean much to me. I don't know. I just want to share a quick word from, you guys know who Apostle Paul is? His letter to Rome. He was one of Jesus' followers, not his original followers, but he was one of the people that converted or that came to Christ after Christ rose back to heaven, after he rose from the dead and rose to heaven. And in his letter to Rome, he writes something that I relate to a lot, and I'm sure a lot of us do. In chapter 7, he writes, I do what I don't want to do, and I don't do what I do want to do. And I'm sure all of us have related to that one point or another. Like, I remember back in high school, the first time I was invited to a party, I was sitting in my room, and I get a text from my best friend asking me if I want to come to a party. And I know, like, deep in my heart, even though like this time I didn't really care about Christianity, I didn't really care about Jesus, I didn't really, like, but I still, somewhere in my heart and my morals, I knew that I shouldn't go to this. Like, I knew that this was not my crowd, not the people I should hang out with. But, like Paul said, I do what I don't want to do. Something ended up dragging me there. Something inside of me ended up dragging me there. And I went to the party, and then every single time after that, it was the same exact thing. Like, I felt disgusting after that. But the next time I got a text from my friend, sure enough, I was right there again. I ended up at that same party or at another party. And it was the same thing with anything, whether it's drugs or whether it's girls. Something in me, I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, I know this is wrong, but something, I couldn't stop it. And I knew the right thing to do. We know, like, I knew the right thing to do, but I couldn't do it. Something was just stopping me. And I think a lot of us fall in this trap, fall in this pattern of like, man, like, I'm kind of stuck. But the good news is that that's not where Paul ends his book or his letter to the Romans. Paul continues later in that chapter. He writes, "Thanks be to Christ who saved me, who set me free from this cyclical pattern of just repeating the same things over and over, and nothing seems to be working." And that's really the story of the gospel. That's really why Jesus came down. I'm sure you guys know the story of Adam and Eve in the garden and how sin entered. Like, God told them not to eat from this tree, and they ended up, or they will die, and they ended up eating it. The devil ended up tempting them, and they ended up eating it, and sure enough, they didn't die. But that's when sin entered the world, and that's when this pattern started of doing the wrong thing, even though they know it. And that's really why Jesus came here. Jesus came to this world to set us free from that pattern, and Paul writes later on, I'm not going to get much into that, but Jesus came here to save, to really give us like a way out of these addictions, give us a way into life, into eternal life with him. And for a while, like, I knew this fact about Jesus. Like I said, I grew up in church. I'm sure all of us grew up knowing Jesus saves, Jesus whatever. I don't know. Did you guys all grow up in church? I'm guessing you guys did, for the most part.
I did.
Okay, there you go. We all did. Or most of us did. It was just like something that I knew, but I always thought, like, man, I'm so gross. Like, if only God knew what I was doing. Like, I don't think He would want me. Like, or like, I didn't want to like tell anybody what I was doing. Like, nobody knew. My family didn't know. Nobody knew. And I was scared. I was like, what is God gonna think of me? I can't come to Him. Like, He's so holy, He's so high up. I can't come to Him. But one day, I was talking with a friend now. He was a complete stranger at the time, but I was talking to him. His name is Mark, and he really showed me, like, God isn't here. Like, Jesus didn't come for the perfect people. If Jesus wanted you to be perfect, why would He need to wash you? Like, if you already came clean, what's the point of His blood? What's the point of Him coming to earth if you're already clean, if you're already whole? Like, you don't require Him in that case. Jesus wants the way you are. He wants you in your filthiness. in your grossness, in your addictions, in your depression, in your anxiety, in the way that you are right now, your raw, real self. He doesn't want like a made-up image of Ilya. He doesn't want a made-up image of Tim or like a perfect Josh that's put together and all pretty. But he really came for the real you and the raw you. And honestly, like that was something that took me a while to understand, like to grasp the idea that he could possibly want me as I am. But yeah, honestly, I just wanted to release that. I don't really have much else to share, but yeah.